Hello friends, I am Rahul Gupta from Starts with Why. Again in the Corporate Insight, we are going to discuss one more interesting interview question today. Tell me about a time when you made a mistake. Okay? Seriously? Are you looking for a mistake? Yes. The question is, whenever this question is asked, okay, generally people gets baffled. They are not able to answer this very simple question and they start discussing in an awkward manner. Now this video is basically to let you know what should be the better framework so that you can impress your interviewer in a very nice and crisp manner. Okay, so stay tuned till last and I will be telling you what is the secret recipe. By using that you can nail this interview question very nice. Okay, so without wasting a time, let's move on. So again we will discuss in the similar format. The first one is what interviewer panel is actually looking for through this question. What is the meaning of this question? Okay. The second one, what are the common mistakes generally people make while answering this question? Third, why the interviewer panel actually asked this question? What is the thought process which is going in the mind? And the fourth one, the secret recipe that has worked for me. So I will be sharing the framework that is very helpful to answer this question. So let's move on to the first one. Okay, that what interviewer panel is actually looking for through this question. So the first one, when we say that tell me about a mistake you made, okay, what is the actual meaning of this? So they are actually asking that describe a situation where you were wrong and how you handled that negative situation, what you did, what was the result, blah. All those things they are expecting from you to answer when they ask this question. Okay. Now, what are the common mistake people does? They will start telling that I have not made many mistake. I am the perfectionist. I will do everything with 100% perfection. That is a common mistake. Remember, we are humans. We are not divine, correct? So we make mistakes. We humans make mistake. And when we engineer actually are applying for a job or anyone basically applying for a job, correct? We make mistake and learn from them and move on. So you should be acknowledging that. If you are telling perfectionist, immediately your interview stops there. They will not hire you for choosing the very trivial mistake. Sometimes because you want to say, yeah, you have a mistake, but sometimes you choose very trivial. Like for an example, one of the candidate actually told that, sir, actually in my wedding, okay, so the mistake that I made is basically like I was having some sort of a chips packet. So instead of throwing in a dustbin, I throwed basically on the floor where basically we were going for the marriage. My God, this is a very trivial mistake. So what? It is not going to change your life. So this shows like you are not at all serious about the learning from the mistake. So don't do that, please. Not taking responsibility and blame others. So this shows that if you don't have a mistake, that means you are not able to take the responsibility. So if you are actually telling the mistake, you are taking the responsibility of whatever the mistake you did and you are not blaming the others. Okay, that's what they are looking. They don't choose the authentic experience. Sometimes they read from some book or they take some friend experience and they start telling. Don't do that basically. It should be your authentic experience. Don't try to bluff there, because finally they will figure that out very easily, because there you will be giving the few clues. They will be asking some follow-up question and then you will be end up having the problem. Situation that shows that character flaws or moral failures, correct? So sometimes while answering you can tell some sort of a mistake that can create a problem in your character or some sort of a moral problem. For an example, like you can say that like one of the candidate told that I have a very good or I'm particular basically for my looks. So whenever I ride a two-wheeler, I don't put a helmet because it basically disturbs my hairstyle. So this is clearly showing that you are not following the law even after knowing that. Okay. So this is a mistake that you are doing, but you are going against the law. That can put you in a problem. So don't do that kind of things. Okay. And sometimes you start basically justifying your problem instead of telling what you learned. So don't do that. It should be short, very crisp. Okay. And we will be discussing how to answer. So now let's move on. The third part, that what the interviewer panel is why the interviewer panel is asking this question at a first place. What is the thought process going in their brain? Okay. So they are actually looking for, are you accountable for your decision or behavior? Whatever the mistake, whatever the things that you do, are you accountable for that? for that? Or are you self-aware of making mistake? Are you aware that you can also make a mistake, or you are treating yourself as a divine? That is also they are looking. Third thing to check, how do you respond under the pressure? Because this is the question, if you have not prepared, it's a very difficult to answer, okay, on the spot. So how will you respond at that time? What will be your basic instinct to tackle that situation? What do you consider to be a failure? Because failure definition for everyone is different. So what is your definition of the failure? That also they are looking. Yeah, so now let's move on to the secret recipe. So what is the secret recipe is, this is called a star technique. Okay, so we call this star technique. Now let's understand what is the meaning of this star technique. So when we talk about S starts for a situation, T starts for a task, A starts for an action, and R starts for a result. So whenever you are telling about any mistake, you should follow this framework, okay, to articulate your mistake in a very concise manner, and that can give a long lasting effect. Let's understand how. So when we talk about a situation, you will tell what the situation is actually, because first you should tell the situation, not directly jump to the result. So you will tell the situation, okay, in which you work, and it has to be mostly related to the work. Don't tell your personal situation here. The second one is called a task. Now what you were supposed to do in that situation, okay, what was required or the expected result was, okay. And the third thing is, tell what actually happened, what the wrong thing that you did, okay, and how you handled the situation, okay. That's the third step. And the fourth step is, what is the result that you got, and what is the lessons that you learned from this experience. So if you follow this star framework, okay, it is a high possibility that you will be able to articulate your mistake in a very nice manner, and your interviewer panel will be able to convince very nicely. Okay, so let me give you the very fantastic example from my experience, so that can give you the more insight. So let's say this is the sample example. Now so for an example, let's say this question is asked to me that, what is the biggest mistake you have done in your life? So how will I answer that? Hello sir, ma'am, that about 15 years ago, I got my first professional assignment to predict the load bearing capability of a mechanical part and present the result to the chief engineer. So what I am telling here is that what is my situation, and then I am telling that, okay, I quickly, now what I did basically, okay, so what I was supposed to do, that I quickly analyzed the mechanical part from all the engineering aspects, and came up with a fantastic optimized design, okay. And then because I need to give the presentation, so I put my entire energy to prepare the fantastic presentation containing so much infographics, charts, tables, correct, to impress my chief engineer. So this was my situation. This is what the action, okay, or the task I was supposed to do. Now what happened actually on the day of presentation? Okay, what happened on the day of presentation? Now the chief engineer asked, okay, you have made a very fantastic presentation, but can you tell me which material you chose to predict this load bearing capacity of the part? Because I am unaware of any material till date that can take such a huge load or has the very high capability that you are showing in your presentation. Okay, at that time, like, this was a very awkward situation, because you have put a lot more effort to put together the data in a very nice format, infographics format, okay, and finally you are not getting appreciation, but getting a criticism that you have done a very junk work, in simple words. Okay, but what I did, I finally replied very gracefully to the chief engineer that, sure sir, that I will reanalyze my result, might be I have made some mistake, and I will come back to you again, okay, maybe after a week or after 15 days. This was actually I did. Now what is the lessons I learned from this? Later when I did the reflection on this, what was the wrong? The important lesson which I learned on this, that I was not having the feel the number, whatever the number came out from my result, I was not having any feel whether those numbers make any sense or not. So this gives a very good insight that whenever I analyze anything, the result that whatever I am getting, understand what is the meaning of that number. Does that make sense? Compare that with the again industry standard benchmark or any kind of design guidelines. Compare against them. Okay, another lesson that I learned from this is that I focused more of the time in presenting instead of focusing on the core part, which is designing. Okay, so I focused more on beautification of the PPT, making tables, doing this, all those things, instead of focusing actually on the design part and understanding whether those numbers are making sense or not. So this is basically my one of the biggest mistake, or one of the mistake that I've learned tremendously at the early of my career. So this is how actually you can frame. You can see like STAR. Okay, this is a very fantastic method to tell what is the mistake and how you can rectify. Okay, so again, how you should answer this question: tell me about a time you made a mistake. Follow the STAR technique: situation, task, action, result, and you will nail this question very, very nicely. Remember one important thing: be honest while selecting a mistake, but not brutally honest. Keep your answer very, very simple, very, very short. No elaboration, no too much detail orientation in this. Focus the STAR technique to become the star. Correct? So if you want to become a star, focus this technique and share this video with your friends. So whenever they use this technique and crack the interview, you can earn a very, very nice party from them. Okay. So hope this video would have given you the insight. Please use this framework and tell me what is your sample answer in the comment section. Okay. And if you need any sort of a help to framing your answer, okay, put in the comment section. I will be able to help you. Okay, so hope this would have given you enough insight. Share this video. If you have liked this, please like the channel, like the video, hit the subscribe button and share with your friend. Thank you. See you with the next video with a very more and grateful insight down the line. Thank you.